Speaker, I yield such time as he may consume to my colleague and friend from Texas, Representative Marc Veasey.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to thank my friend from Houston, Lizzie Fletcher, for putting this together, because this is hugely important, particularly as we get ready to wind down Women's History Month. I think about my first term here in Congress. And previous to me serving in Congress, I was in the state legislature. And Republicans in the Texas state legislature, they were always trying to tear down women's reproductive rights. It seemed like there was just an endless supply of bills that they had aimed at stripping away freedom from women across our state. And I was given a speech out in the Triangle and momentarily thought that I was back in Austin and accidentally referred to myself as State Representative Marc Veasey, just because, when you think about D.C. and the various states that are here, you think about people being able to celebrate those sorts of freedoms. But we're fighting that battle not just in Austin, but in D.C. and in other states around the country. But today we're here to focus on Texas. And again, I just want to thank Lizzie Fletcher and the other women that are a part of the Texas delegation. I also want to thank the female state representatives in the state of Texas that really have just fought fearlessly on this issue for so long now, all session, this past regular legislative session. So many of the women in the North Texas delegation, where I'm from, they were very poignant in making so many points about how SB 8, a sweeping anti-abortion law, how it was going to disproportionately impact low-income and women of color in minority communities. Imagine just barely being able to get by. You may be on SNAP, you may be a single mother, you may find yourself trapped in a low-income job, and trying to accumulate enough money to be able to travel across state lines so you can have these services and get them done safely. It's sad to see us go back in time to where women were not able to have these services done safely. And that is something that we have to continue to fight against, and that's why whatever it takes, we need to make sure that this bill one day is reversed. And passing the Women's Health Protection Act would codify Roe v. Wade and ensure that people can have the freedom to make personal decisions. I think that's something that everybody, regardless of if you're a Democrat or a Republican or independent, whatever you may happen to be, you ought to have the choice to make personal decisions. It used to be something that Republicans used to value, and it's sad to see them backslide so much in this area. We need to make sure that we protect equal access to abortion care everywhere because it is essential to social and economic participation, reproductive autonomy, and the right for people to determine their own lives. And one of the things that really doesn't get talked a lot about on this issue is just really the number of Republicans, too, that are against any sort of birth control. I see them. They come to my town hall meetings, and they don't like to talk about it because they know that most people, overwhelmingly, Democrats and Republicans, are for birth control. But you hear them. They come and they say, no, birth control is wrong. We even had a lawsuit filed in Fort Worth, in federal court in Fort Worth, to try to stop people from being able to get birth control. So people need to understand that this is a larger battle. Right now, it's abortion access, but believe me, Republicans have their sights set on people not being able to have basic birth control, just basic contraceptions, and they're trying to make that harder and harder for people to get a hold of, too. This is a slippery slope, and again, I just want to thank my colleague from Houston, Lizzie Fletcher, for leading this hour because it is hugely, hugely important, and I yield back.
Thank you, Mr. Veasey, and I join